Before we begin, we'd love to know, where are you watching from? Please share your city in the comments below. This is a historic moment, and we want to know from which corners of the world you're witnessing what's happening in Jerusalem. The ancient stones of Jerusalem bear witness once again. Thousands gather, drawn by a force beyond explanation. The Western Wall Plaza fills with pilgrims as the sun begins its descent. Faces of all nations turn toward the Temple Mount, eyes filled with expectation, hearts pounding in unison with history itself. The air vibrates with anticipation. This is not merely an event. This is prophecy unfolding before our eyes. The appointed time has come. Jerusalem stands at the threshold of destiny once more. The convergence of celestial signs and earthly events cannot be ignored. Ancient scrolls speak of this day. Modern prophets have foreseen it. The alignment of stars and seasons points to this moment. The very dust of Jerusalem seems to tremble with recognition. This is the day that was foretold. This is the hour that generations have awaited. They've traveled from distant lands, from mountaintops and valleys, from cities and remote villages. The call has reached the ends of the earth, and they have responded. The shofar bearer approaches the sacred spot. His steps deliberate, his purpose clear, his countenance reflects the gravity of this hour. Today, he proclaims, we stand where our ancestors stood. Today we hear what the prophets foretold. Today, time itself bends to the eternal purpose. The crowd falls silent. Even the wind seems to pause. The moment has been written since ancient days, and now we witness its fulfillment. Children whisper questions to parents who struggle to explain the magnitude. Elderly sages weep openly, their lifetimes of study culminating in this moment. Scholars stand shoulder to shoulder with simple believers. Knowledge and faith merge before the mystery unfolding. The air itself feels charged with supernatural electricity. Birds circle overhead as if bearing witness. The very stones seem to lean in to listen. The words of Joel echo through millennia. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. What was written is now being lived. The prophecy breathes. It walks among us. The pages of ancient text transform into flesh and blood reality. Zechariah spoke of this day when the Lord shall be king over all the earth. Isaiah saw it from afar. Ezekiel described the gathering. The prophets who slept in dust for centuries now speak through living events. Their vision becomes our experience. Their future is our present. The prophetic timeline converges on this moment. Amos declared, "Surely the Lord God does nothing unless he reveals his secret to his servants the prophets." Those secrets, once sealed, now break open before our eyes. Daniel was told to seal the book until the time of the end. Those seals are breaking. Those mysteries unveil themselves. The cryptic becomes clear. The veiled stands revealed. Ancient words illuminate present reality. The prophetic puzzle assembles itself in real time. This is happening now, not in distant history, not in future hope, but in this present hour. The sound that will soon pierce the air travels across time itself. It connects generations. It binds covenants. Feel the weight of this moment pressing against your soul. The veil between heaven and earth grows thin. Ancient and modern collide here. Eternity touches time. The supernatural intersects the natural realm. You are not merely watching history. You are standing within prophecy fulfilled. This is the hour that was spoken of. This is the day that was promised. The spiritual and physical realms align in rare conjunction. Heaven's attention focuses on this place. Angels watch from celestial balconies. The cloud of witnesses leans forward. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob witness the continuation of their covenant. David sees the city he established at the center of world events once more. The prophets behold their words manifesting in flesh and stone. This thin place grows thinner still as realms converge. Listen to their prayers rising like incense. Hear the ancient Hebrew mingling with languages from every corner of the earth. The faithful have come. The curious have gathered. The skeptics stand witness despite themselves. Elderly men weep openly, overcome by significance they've waited lifetimes to see. Young children sense something beyond their understanding. Women cover their heads in reverence. Families cling to one another. Strangers become brothers in this moment. Their collective breath creates a living prayer. Their presence fulfills what was written, all nations shall flow unto it. A businessman from Tokyo stands transfixed, his journey of curiosity transforming into spiritual awakening. A professor from São Paulo removes her glasses to wipe away unexpected tears. A farmer from Kenya raises calloused hands in worship. A student from Vancouver records with trembling hands. A nurse from Sydney stands in reverent silence. Jerusalem has become the gathering point of humanity, as foretold. The nations stream to Zion, physically and spiritually. Geography and technology fulfill ancient words in ways the prophets could never have imagined. The shofar is raised now. The ram's horn that has announced Israel's sacred moments for 3,000 years, the instrument that brought down Jericho's walls, the sound that announced kings and warned of approaching armies, the call that has summoned the faithful for generations untold. It catches the last golden rays of sunlight. A hush falls over the multitude. Time stands still. The shofar bearer takes a deep breath. His chest expands with the weight of history. And then, the sound. That primal, penetrating cry. The Takaya echoes between ancient stones. It ricochets through narrow streets. It climbs the Mount of Olives. It descends into the Kidron Valley. It awakens something primal in the human spirit. It speaks a language beyond words. It triggers cellular memory. It activates spiritual DNA. The sound that called Israel to attention through centuries of wandering. The sound that signaled approaching Jubilee. The sound that will herald Messiah's return. The sound that transcends religion and speaks directly to the soul. Some cover their ears, overwhelmed by its spiritual force. Others lean forward, drinking in every vibration. The sound penetrates barriers of language, culture, and belief. It speaks a universal tongue that every heart recognizes. Remember the first Yom Kippur after Solomon's temple was consecrated. Recall the tears shed when the second temple stood. Remember the centuries of exile when the sound could only be imagined. Remember the return. Remember 1967 when the shofar sounded at this wall for the first time in 2,000 years. Remember those who dreamed of this moment but never lived to see it. Remember the covenant made with Abraham. Remember the exodus from Egypt. Remember the giving of Torah at Sinai. Remember the kings. Remember the prophets. Remember the exile. Remember the return. This moment carries all these memories in its sound. Remember the Maccabees who purified the desecrated temple. Remember Bar Kokhba's rebellion and the final exile. Remember the scattered communities keeping faith across continents. Remember the pogroms endured. Remember the Holocaust survived. Remember the impossible rebirth of a nation in a day. Remember the wars for survival against impossible odds. Remember the ingathering from north, south, east and west, every tear shed, every prayer whispered, every hope maintained, every tradition preserved, all converge in this moment, in this sound, in this place. The spiritual atmosphere shifts as the notes continue. Shevarim, 3 broken wails, Teruah, 9 staccato bursts. Each has meaning beyond words. Each reaches into the soul and awakens what lies dormant. Some fall to their knees, others raise hands skyward. Many press their foreheads against ancient stones. Tears flow freely now, not from sadness, but from the crushing weight of divine presence. Something is breaking open in the spiritual realm. Barriers fall, hearts crack open. Ancient promises activate. Spiritual DNA responds to its maker. This is more than commemoration. This is supernatural transaction. Heaven touches earth where these stones meet. The veil thins to transparency. The sound penetrates layers of spiritual sediment. It disturbs comfortable slumber. It awakens dormant purpose. It realigns what has drifted from center. It restores original design. It calls forth destiny. The sound is both judgment and mercy. It both breaks and heals. It both ends and begins. It closes one door while opening another. The sonic vibrations rearrange spiritual atmospheres. They dispel darkness. They establish divine order. They herald heavenly realities manifesting in earthly contexts. The sound creates space for new possibilities. It announces shifting seasons. It prepares the way. What does this signify for our time? Why does this particular Yom Kippur carry such weight? The alignments are undeniable. The convergence of times and seasons, the fulfillment of biblical cycles, the restoration of ancient patterns, the signs in the heavens above and on the earth below, wars and rumors of wars, nations in anguish and perplexity, the fig tree blossoming, Jerusalem no longer trampled underfoot by the nations, the ancient city breathing with renewed life, the desert blooming, the dispersed returning from north, south, east, and west. Technology fulfilling Daniel's prophecy that knowledge shall increase. These are not coincidences. These are prophetic waymarks, the biblical feasts realigning with celestial events, the Jubilee cycles intersecting with modern history, the temple implements being prepared after millennia of absence, the red heifer appearing after centuries of waiting, the Sanhedrin reconvening after 2,000 years of silence, the ancient priesthood identifying through modern DNA analysis, the lost tribes returning from hidden exile, the Torah being fulfilled in ways that transcend religious boundaries, the nations aligning precisely as Ezekiel foresaw, the wealth of Gentiles flowing to Israel as Isaiah prophesied, the ancient enemies gathering just as Psalm 83 described. Every headline becomes a prophetic fulfillment. Every diplomatic development advances the divine timeline. Yet this is not the culmination. This is a critical milestone on humanity's prophetic journey. Another chapter in the unfolding scroll. The story continues beyond this day. Seeds planted now will grow into future fulfillments. What begins here ripples outward through coming generations. The final Tekiah Gedola, the great blast, points towards something greater still to come. The prophet spoke of days beyond this one, of a new heaven and new earth, of the lion lying down with the lamb, of swords beaten into plowshares. Today's events are both fulfillment and foreshadowing. They complete one prophetic cycle while initiating another. They are both destination and doorway. This moment serves as prophetic hinge, as divine fulcrum, as spiritual catalyst. What happens here today unlocks what happens globally tomorrow. Jerusalem remains the cosmic center point, the spiritual axis around which prophetic fulfillment rotates, the epicenter from which revelation ripples outward, the divine timepiece by which all prophetic clockwork is calibrated. What begins at this ancient wall will manifest at Earth's furthest corners. The sound released here will echo until it has accomplished its purpose in every heart prepared to receive it. The light ignited here will illuminate paths through coming darkness. The covenant remembered here will sustain through trials yet unfaced. The sound carries beyond Jerusalem now. Modern technology broadcasts the ancient call to the ends of the earth. In living rooms across Africa, believers fall to their knees. In South American churches, congregations stand in silent reverence. Asian believers pause in their daily activities as the sound reaches their smartphones. European cathedrals play the live stream on giant screens. North American families gather around devices to witness. Australian worshippers stay up through their night to participate. The shofar call transcends geography. It ignores political boundaries. It speaks a language every human heart recognizes on some primal level. The nations indeed stream to Jerusalem, Physically and virtually, the prophetic word manifests in ways the ancient seers could never have imagined. A young monk in Tibet feels his spirit quicken without understanding why. A businessman in Dubai pauses mid-conversation, inexplicably moved. A researcher at Antarctica's remote station feels tears form at the sound coming through satellite connection. A tribal elder in Papua New Guinea recognizes the sound he's heard in dreams. A prisoner in a maximum security cell feels chains breaking in his spirit. The sacred sound travels via fiber optic cables and satellite signals. It crosses oceans and mountains. It penetrates concrete walls and digital firewalls. Nothing can stop its appointed journey. No one remains untouched who hears it with open heart. The spiritual impact radiates in invisible waves. Lives transform in the sound's wake. Ancient hatreds dissolve in unexpected reconciliation. Generational curses break without explanation. Terminal illnesses reverse in divine intervention. Addictions lose their grip in supernatural deliverance. Relationships restore without logical cause. The sound carries more than acoustic vibration. It bears spiritual authority. It releases divine decrees. It establishes heavenly verdicts. Spiritual atmospheres shift over entire regions. Demonic strongholds weaken. Angelic assistance increases. The veil between dimensions thins globally. Prayers find accelerated answers. Prophecies receive sudden fulfillment. Dreams manifest in waking reality. Revelations download into prepared minds. The sound serves as catalyst for dormant promises, as activator for delayed blessings, as amplifier for whispered prayers, as magnifier for hidden faith. Subtle miracles multiply. Ordinary believers find extraordinary boldness. Timid voices speak with unexpected authority. Hesitant steps become confident strides. What God initiates in Jerusalem reverberates throughout his creation. Look at the faces in this crowd. Each represents a story. Each carries personal significance in this moment. The elderly Holocaust survivor, who never expected to see Jerusalem reunited in her lifetime, now witnesses prophecy fulfilled. The young soldier who defended these stones during recent conflict now stands in peaceful prayer. The child born on the day Jerusalem was reunified now brings his own children to witness. The rabbi whose ancestors dreamed of this moment through centuries of exile now leads prayers at this wall. The Christian pilgrim whose faith was birthed in these stories now stands where they unfolded. The Muslim seeker whose dreams led him here against all cultural expectation now encounters truth beyond tradition. The secular journalist who came to document but finds himself participating. The scientist whose rational mind surrenders to transcendent reality. The politician whose policies shift after this encounter. The artist whose creative vision expands in this atmosphere. The business leader whose priorities rearrange in this presence. Every life touched becomes a carrier of this moment. Every heart transformed becomes an ambassador of this reality. The ripple effect cannot be calculated. The generational impact cannot be measured. Ancient prophecy meets present technology. The voice of the watchman now travels at the speed of light. The warning that once reached only as far as human voice could carry now circles the globe in seconds. The call, once heard by hundreds, now reaches millions. Zechariah could not have imagined fiber optics when he wrote of Jerusalem's centrality. Isaiah could not have conceived of satellite transmission when he spoke of the word going forth from Zion. Ezekiel could not have envisioned social media when he prophesied all eyes turning toward Jerusalem, yet their words find fulfillment through these modern means. Divine purpose utilizes human innovation. Eternal plans leverage temporal technology. The ancient and cutting-edge partner in prophetic fulfillment, the shofar's sound digitizes without losing spiritual potency. Its message converts to ones and zeros without sacrificing supernatural impact. The prophetic word adapts to contemporary contexts while maintaining original intent. Heaven's purposes advance through Earth's inventions. The final blast fades into sacred silence, but its echo remains in the spiritual atmosphere. What has happened here today cannot be undone. What has been set in motion will continue its course. The heavenly books record this moment. The earthly witnesses will carry its memory. The prophetic implications will unfold in coming days. Jerusalem has once again served as the epicenter of divine human interaction. The city of the great king has hosted another supernatural encounter. As night falls on these ancient stones, know this: you have not merely witnessed an event, you have participated in prophecy. You have been written into the continuing story of divine purpose. As you reflect on what you've seen, remember, the God who keeps ancient promises is still speaking today. His word remains true from generation to generation. Jerusalem continues to be the timepiece by which prophetic fulfillment is measured. Watch and pray. The story continues. The final chapters approach. Look to the eastern sky as evening descends. The stars emerge above this sacred city just as they did when Abraham received the covenant promise. The same constellations that watched the Exodus now witness this gathering. The moon that illuminated David's path now shines on his city's modern streets. These heavenly lights have been faithful witnesses to every chapter of this unfolding story. They have seen empires rise and fall. They have watched Jerusalem destroyed and rebuilt. They have observed exile and return. They testify to the faithfulness of the one who placed them, the one who counts their number and calls them by name. The same one who has orchestrated every moment of prophetic fulfillment you've witnessed today. His plans extend beyond what human minds can comprehend. His timeline stretches further than mortal imagination can grasp. Today marks not an ending, but a critical transition. Not a conclusion, but a pivotal turning point. The prophetic scroll unfurls further with each passing day. Each sunrise reveals another line of ancient text manifesting in contemporary reality. Each sunset confirms the unwavering faithfulness of the covenant keeper. As you depart from this place, physically or virtually, carry what you've witnessed. Let it transform how you see world events. Let it influence how you prepare for days ahead. Let it determine how you position yourself in this prophetic moment. For you have not encountered this reality by accident. You have been summoned as witness, as participant, as carrier of this unfolding revelation.